to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. I'll be your host today. My name is Harrison, and Worlds is great. And I'm joined by...
Rowan, you might know me by Mocha, and yeah, that was an amazing World Championships.
And I'm Sheldon. You probably know me as Captain Unova. And I agree. This was probably the best tournament of the year.
Yeah, I had to steal your change in the intro, Rowan. I'm not sorry. So obviously this is our first episode after Worlds. Worlds ended today. We recording this like 12 hours after Worlds ended. And I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited for the next season of VGC. So excited for Worlds next year, for all the regionals to come back and all that stuff. And we have a lot to talk about. But first, how are y'all doing?
I'm doing great. I say enjoying my World Cup time off. Sheldon and I played some little draft match yesterday. Was it yesterday? Time is an illusion.
Yesterday.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah. Yes. Yesterday.
Been prepping some new teams and stuff. Maybe I shouldn't give it away, but yeah, it's been going pretty well.
I don't know. You should spill all your secrets now. World Cup, little draft. Whatever.
That's how we'll find out who's listening.
Yeah, how prepared they are. What about you?
We got a little Singapore audience.
Yeah, I'm doing good,
great.
man. Yeah, spread the word. But yeah, I'm good, man. Just another weekend down.
So after
stuff.
After last week's fun little, I don't even know a word for it. What's everyone drinking tonight?
Rum and Coke. We're basic tonight.
Yeah, I got a new keg in my kegerator, so I got beer.
Rum and lemonade. So
sounds delicious.
Rum and beer. It's not as exciting as
something. Yeah,
I like it. It's not as exciting as bringing out the whole bottle of wine like last time.
No, it's not. It's not.
That probably means your weekends have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so do y'all just want to jump right into Worlds? Like this, there's so
much to talk about. I think we do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Worlds just happened. We have new champions at every level, at every game. Pokken is no more. Go and Unite had their first Worlds. Where do we start?
I'll be real. I did not watch any of the non-VGC games.
Same.
So did Seijin win Unite?
See, I don't know. I was just about to have to look that up because I am not sure.
That is the only way you're gonna get me to care.
Yeah. That's really the only thing I cared about. I want to find Seijin's Twitter while y'all think about it here.
So in the meantime, then while Sheldon does that, Rowan, Worlds
they got top 8.
Hey, that's
top
good.
8. All right, yeah, that's pretty damn good. Like,
yeah.
And for the first year that Unite's been at Worlds, I don't know. I should probably actually go back and watch those and just see how it works.
Did they even stream it? Like, I didn't see the stream on YouTube.
Not as much. The streams were only on YouTube on the last day, I think. Like,
no, they were on the whole weekend, or at least for TCG and Go and VGC were all on YouTube.
Really?
So maybe
I was told it was only Twitch. Weird. Maybe that was wrong.
No,
that was.
Yeah, Pokemon did not actually promote that it was on YouTube. They promoted it on Twitch and on their own channel, it was their own website. Like, they never said YouTube, which is weird to me, but
yeah. So maybe Unite was only on Twitch, but yeah, everything else pretty much was on YouTube, which is a better place to go watch Worlds and stuff.
I think so too. Yeah, so we can look it up later. I'm curious to see, because it also seems like Go had a lot of hype, and I gotta be honest, I don't understand Pokemon Go as a competitive game.
It is.
I know
it's like VGC Lite. It's like VGC Lite,
okay.
like, because. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, you go. If you know things about it, go ahead. For me, it's just like it's so grindy.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, well, as far as like building and all, but like the actual battle system and everything, it's
tap.
VGC ish though, kind of.
The meme is it's tap.
Oh well, you should watch them on the stream. Like, they are like, you have like a certain speed you have to be able to tap at to like optimally like play it. But you know, it's bring 6, choose 3. So kind of like the singles, on ladder.
If there's an optimal speed at which you must tap the screen for Pokemon Go, I feel like that is how fast can you get carpal tunnel?
Yes.
And I don't know. I type for a living pretty much, so I don't want to.
But
Yeah.
so there is
Escalate
some interesting, like, I think strategy kind of stuff involved with it, because you can't switch your mons out at any time there's a timer. So when you switch, there's a cooldown timer. You have to wait before you can switch again, and then you get basically 2 protects you can use all game.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, lead roulette is also like very huge in that.
Yes.
Because, like when you switch, you're then penalized with a timer.
Yep.
So if you mess up,
if you lead wrong,
Yeah.
it's worse than Series 12, like with a bad lead.
Ah, interesting.
and like the preparation, the team building is like, it basically weeds out the vast majority of the potential competition, because it's just, you have to have spent hundreds if not thousands of dollars on raid passes and like grind it up, because I don't know, was it the level 40 cap or the level 50 cap for
level 40? It's Great Ball, so it's 1500.
Oh, it's Great Ball. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they play, which I feel like it's good. That's where it should be, is the lower level. So that's why you see things like Shadow Ninetales and all, because that's the ones you get out of the Team Rocket balloons and stuff, the Shadow, because they have a lower CP, so they can be a higher level.
Right. And then there's like I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in there that is like event gated. Like you need Pokemon that can only come from certain events, and they have legacy moves, which means
legacy moves are horrible.
And they're a big thing. There are some legacy moves which are meta. So like, I personally don't like it. No disrespect to anybody who takes it seriously and does well. I'm sure it takes a lot of skill and a lot of dedication to build like that. It's just, it breaks a lot of my rules for what I consider competitive, like good competitive. So
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
That's understandable. I think it was. I mean, I was impressed to see the amount of hype that came along with that, even if like.
There's a lot of people who play it.
Well,
like,
the player base is huge. Like it's got to be the like top mobile game or something, isn't it? Like,
sure.
If not in terms of players anymore, then at least like in terms of money, it's very much up there. I mean, granted, they're milking some whales at this point, but like, no, it's a massive player base. So it could be the worst game in the world, and it's still gonna have a lot of eyes on it. So
it's accessible for a competitive game, I guess, because it's mobile, so everybody can have it on their phone.
Yeah.
But like you were saying though, like I mean, there's some Pokemon that are region locked. Like there's some like you could only get in the Middle East. There's only some you can get in Asia. Like because I remember whenever I was like working in Afghanistan, like getting, I think it was a Torkoal, was like big, because you couldn't get Torkoals anywhere else except for like when I'd go through Dubai.
Wow.
That is. I love that. It's cool. Pokemon Go is such a cool idea, I'll say. I fell off pretty hard after the first like year of it or whatever. I was super excited when it was coming out. But
I think we all were, right?
Yeah.
No, I was into it for a few years. I remember we did we did a little vacation in Rome and played a little bit there. Like it was like that was, it was still like I think like Gen 2 had come out at that point. It was 2018, I think. So like we were like getting finding our Mr. Mimes and stuff. It was pretty cool. But
it might have been more than a year for me, but still, nonetheless.
I think it grew badly, I guess. I don't know. It was like they had a lot of directions they could take it, and they had to figure out how to monetize it well, and that led them down a path that I don't love. But it's still a huge game. It's got a scene. I think we should respect it the same as like any other part of like the games at Worlds. I don't know.
Sure, and to that point, right? Like so, at Rob Dancing on Twitter is the first ever official Pokemon Go World Champion. So congrats to you. It's still a cool accomplishment. I mean, you can't take that away. Even if like
you're the best in the world at anything, that's an accomplishment. Absolutely.
So I think that's cool. And we can move on from there. So, back to the game that we have frequented so much on this show, VGC. Y'all want to? Was there anything cool from days 1 and 2 that y'all want to talk about?
So
I know there's some stuff.
There's so much stuff. Let me start. Raghav from Team India, he's 6-0'd day one.
I remember that.
Nice.
Yeah, he completely beasted that. That was awesome.
I was cheering for him for sure. For you,
Kyogre and Shedinja. I mean, I gotta be real. I hate Shedinja so much. So
the amount of Shedinja that was on stream, and if it was that much on stream, the amount that had been on that floor, my goodness, y'all.
It broke my heart to cheer for Shedinja, but I had to there. Yeah. Interestingly though, I'm looking at the top cut. I think there was only one shed in top cut. Yes, that is correct. No, two sheds.
2 sheds. Yep, I see it. So you had
Hippolyte and Danielle.
Yes. Yep. That is it. But yeah, I was disappointed.
Do you like Shedinja? Is that your guy?
No. There was so much Shedinja. I am not a fan either. Stockholm Syndrome, like maybe I'd like to try it, but no. Did y'all also see? I want to touch on this real quick. During the London Open that was happening alongside the championship.
Not get to watch that.
No,
they didn't stream it.
They didn't stream it. But there was the story about these 2 players who basically gridlocked the whole competition because they decided to go and have a mirror match team with, was it like P2 and Shedinja, and they stalled it because no one could do anything.
They purposely made it so that their trace P2s had no choice but to trace Wander Guard, and then they were just 2 P2s fighting each other. They could foul play the other shed, so that went away. But after that point, the P2s couldn't hurt each other. Yep. And I guess eventually they'd struggle, but I guess it was going to time out before that point. Like
which is so weird. Which is so weird to me. Like there's nothing in the rules to prevent a tie.
They're just being like very high effort trolling, I guess, which is like funny but also infuriating if you're one of the people like actually taking this tournament seriously.
Well, like people were upset because like y'all made that round go longer than the round should have because they went to sudden death. So it was 4 rounds.
4 rounds
of full, like the full game. So at least the full 15 minutes or whatever it is. How long are these matches? 20 minutes, whatever it is. They went to time each time, I believe, until the judges were like, okay, that's it. Now, to their credit, I believe they asked the judges, we will do the same thing for every game. Can we just call this a tie? And then the judges' ruling had to be, you have to play all the games. So they at least were mildly considerate.
They were honest.
They were honest.
They were honest
about trolling.
There you go.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because you cannot intentionally draw a VGC like that. That's a big no.
Tell them that.
I know.
It's effectively match fixing, right?
If you intentionally draw, so that's why you have to play the games out.
Yeah, and fair, good point. Like something could have changed, or one of them could have been like, I'm gonna misclick or something, right? Any number of things could have happened, but they made their point, and I guess they really just wanted.
Unless they wanted
attention, except I don't know their names still, so no attention really.
So unless they were trying to like maybe get like a rules change, like the TCG guy did with the giant card, because he brought a deck of giant cards because there was no rule against it.
Yes. So like fixing the rules, which is like.
Now,
it's
if you
a
have
good
the
place to do it.
If you can do that in Worlds, you might get some attention on you for that.
Yeah.
As is, you did it in a side bracket that's for funsies. I mean, there's CP on the line, but that's it, right? So like.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Adjacent to it, and it got traction, right? So we'll see.
In their support, I really don't want Shedinja and Scarlet and Violet because it sounds ripe for abuse with Terra. But
for sure,
that is a topic for a different day.
And there's a new move too, but we can get to that later.
Yes. Okay, so that was a fun little rabbit hole. Back to the topic at hand. Worlds VGC. This top cut.
Can we talk about David Katesh real quick? Hamster Mania.
That team
was sick. Okay, so Dialga, Yveltal, Gyarados, Ferrothorn, and then Double Genie, Lando Thundy. Like, no one thought that Gyarados and Giratina were gonna top cut and David made it through day 1 and 2, I think, with that. Like they were not a
he played
not a day 2 invite.
Yeah, he played day 1 with it. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching the stream. I'm like, there's a Gyarados on stream,
which is weird.
What?
Was that early on the first day? Because I did not. I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, it was early on the first day.
I missed that. That was like the only bit of the stream I didn't watch was the early parts of those 2 days. Yeah, I'm speaking of that team, I'm shocked that there's not more of that Bacon Bird. I thought Bacon Bird was going to go further.
It's good. It's one of those things that's like incredibly polarizing matchup wise. So like if you run Yveltal, you will just like flat out have a very positive matchup into a lot of things.
Sure.
But you also have more losing matchups. So it's less consistent, I guess. Like if you run Kyogreization, if you run Lunadon or Groudonzation or Groudon Kalias or whatever, like you have way more even to doable matchups.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
There's two of them made it into this top 26. So
yeah. Like, but if you match up against a Calyrex Shadow or a Lunala, then like, you know, you're sitting pretty.
Yeah. Well, unless they have like an Aleki, you know, or
and they do tend to. You got to play around it, right? But like, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know. That is a huge thing too, right? It's like if you see,
I feel like it just doesn't do quite enough for what you're using your restricted. Like you're saying, you know, you could have a Zacian in there, you could have a Calyrex there, you could have a Kyogre or a Groudon, like.
And it has an incredibly unfortunate stat distribution. It is 131 in both attack and special attack. So like, okay, cute, you can do a physical Yveltal if you want, but that means that massive BST is.
And Xerneas has the same issue.
All right.
Yeah.
Like its best thing really is like, you know, the super stab foul plays or snarls. That's really like it's
bread and butter.
That's
bread and butter, yeah.
And that's more like supportive kind of sets anyway. So
right. Yeah, but 2 made it in, so that was kind of cool. I meant to do this beforehand, but we made predictions last episode of what, or maybe 2 episodes ago, of what restricted duo we thought was going to win. I'm pretty sure we were all wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Zacian won, so I was half right.
Well, Zacian was almost a given. I feel
it almost was. It wasn't on the other side. If the other person won, it wouldn't have been there.
Fair point. That's a fair point.
I think it's almost poetic that
which if he did have a Zacian, he might have won that instead of a useless Lunala. Like
Lunala had a good showing,
but he couldn't bring it. Right?
Yeah, like, he couldn't bring it.
I mean the Pokemon in general, not just for the last match.
Yeah, no, Lunala is a top tier restricted
for
sure. We're clowning a bit here, but like, but it genuinely was bad for Casti in the finals. Like, would have very much preferred to have a Zacian there.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Okay. What else looks fun on this bracket here?
In the top cut?
There's a lot of just interesting stuff. So okay.
Can we talk about sorry, I just thought of something. We need to talk about the elephant in the room though. And that's weakness policy Charizard.
Yeah, okay, so I want to get to that in a second.
Okay. Okay, well we'll get to that then.
Paul Chua, they made top 4. Their team looks really standard. It's like it's Calyrex with Aleki over the standard Tapu Fini, which is like that's pretty normal. It's Life Orb Aleki, so like you just have the option to nuke things there. But like what was really cool about it is they had the most aggressively bulky Palkia ever. I think it's I hope I'm not like giving away information that I shouldn't, but the world is over, they won't care.
A lot of people are saying Sword and Shield is over, so
yeah. If I wasn't playing World Cup, I'd super agree. Like okay, so they were playing Wiki Berry Palkia, which is pretty normal. A lot of people run Wiki Berry Palkia so you can take a Charizard attack and set up Trick Room and not be dead, basically.
Right.
But they were running a calm Wiki Palkia with no special attack investment at all. So like it's like the most bizarre. It's a borderline support Palkia, but it has no support moves. It's just like this thing is tanky as all get out, and it does some damage because it still has base 150 special attack.
Right.
Yeah.
But like that was kind of wild to me. I think it's just like an example of like people brought their weird sauce here, even if it's just a little bit out there, even if it isn't like it's not a Gyarados and a Dialga, right? But like there was some interesting
stuff.
Galisapod on Tatsuya's team, like
I was gonna say we gotta talk about Galisapod because that was so cool, And honestly, Tetsuya played that Glycopod super well.
Oh my gosh, right?
I got up early on Saturday to watch this. I was like, oh gosh, 4 a.m. Okay, fine. Got up.
It was worth it.
Did you really get up at 4 a.m. to watch Pokemon?
I did, yes.
Oh, I did too. Well, I'm up at 4 anyway for work. So
it was a little early for me. That's why I don't like recording as late as we normally do, y'all. I'm shocked that you do that, Sheldon. Anyway, no, but seeing that, I'm like, huh? Glycopod? That's a Pokemon?
It's a cute meta call because Bug is like actually has some like interesting coverage. Like you hit
Rillaboom really does hard. Not like it. Yeah.
And played so well, right? And unfortunately, with the disconnect that happened during that game, I like that was Tetsuya's game. It was his match, and then
they accidentally disconnected their own Switch. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So yeah.
He disconnected his Switch, so that
was it.
Did
he physically disconnect it?
Yeah.
Or was it
or he might have hit a button. I think he hit a button or something. Probably. Yeah. I'm guessing because that's the only way you're going to like actually disconnect.
Right.
That's really weird to me because like I think it's all the same across all official tournaments, and they have like a dock. Like you. Sorry for the sound of my metal straw. Like you take a Switch and you like slam it down into this thing that has a plug-in, and you don't touch the Switch. You take your Joy-Cons out. You like pair a Pro Controller. You do something like.
So unless like if he hit, because you got the little to take you to the home screen buttons. If he hit that.
Oh, and that breaks the local connection.
And that breaks the connection.
So
the match connection.
I heard there was some controversy in one of the younger divisions where like
the power.
So
thing?
Someone So their local connection is very delicate. Like their power, like one of the people's switches wasn't getting charged and was about to run out of battery because someone else had unplugged the power. And they couldn't reconnect it because all the docks are attached to the same power strip. And if any of them lose or gain power, that apparently breaks the local connection.
Which is wild to me.
Why? What?
It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, they're terrible with their local connections. Like
bad. Apparently, it's just as bad as they are with their internet connections. So like,
they're bad with any kind of
whoever does network work at Nintendo is like. Really don't think
behind the times.
You should not have job security, but
yeah. So there's a couple of things there. Either way, whatever actually happened, it was apparently deemed to be on his Switch's side, which caused him to lose game 2. Went to a game 3, and I'm guessing at that point Ko was able to really adjust, because otherwise it was Tetsuya's game.
I mean, and if you're being honest about things, like Glycopod plus Raikou and then dual weather is also a Kyogre Groudon team, which is wild. Did not expect to see that in Top Cut.
Right.
So
and he led with both too.
Yeah. Really, he led Kyogre Groudon.
He led Kyogre Groudon in game 3, I think. Right.
Oh, that sounds right.
Okay.
It was a shocking lead.
It's a Scarf Groudon too. So
the rain takes over. Or does Scarf even count for that? I don't know. Anyway,
it does.
Okay.
But,
okay. Yeah. So like. A team like that almost certainly relies a little bit on tech, right? And it's like if you give your opponent time to adapt, that's very much in their favor when they're running something as consistent as they were.
Yes.
Ko is running just standard Crystal Rain, right? So that lines up.
Yeah, it was definitely like you said, a tech heavy team, and then up against Ko has some accolades, I think. Ooh, I forget.
I mean, everyone here does.
Oh
to some degree,
that's a fair point. But I thought Ko was like maybe Japan regional something. I don't know.
Something like
They're
that.
all really good, of course. So
I mean, you would be hard pressed to go down this Top Cut and find someone who doesn't have like some impressive accolades.
That's a fair point. But yeah, so adjusted and then game 3 went to Ko, and then voila, off Ko went. But that was super cool. That Glycopod I think is the strangest thing here.
I would say so.
Yeah. Definitely.
Even stranger than there's a third Shedinja actually in Top Cut. I can't count. Is the real story here?
Is there?
On the left side, Flavio.
Flavio, had a Shedinja.
Oh, I just can't see. Okay.
But I guess he's running the same thing as Daniel's.
Yeah.
Spuntarelli?
Yeah,
same team,
same country. So that makes they probably built together. Yeah.
Yeah, but they have the real talk of that team though, which is the Galarian Moltres.
Just kind of a sleeper in Series 12, honestly. Like it does work as a budget.
As Walmart, Walmart Yveltal there, like, but I think its signature move might be a little bit better than Yveltal's.
To some degree, yeah. It's like you want that spread dark damage, like
and the flinch, and it can flinch. So
yeah,
100% accurate flinches.
There's a lot of a lot of the Series 12 at least, and much of I think the meta that's formed over the lifespan of this game. Spread moves are very important. There's a lot of moments that the casters during this Worlds was like, man, if only they had a spread move. Right, because obviously Dynamax takes that away, or just some Pokemon just don't have access to spread moves. So there's a lot of options there that a lot of instances where that spread move is almost needed, and then not having that is it's sad sometimes.
It's incredibly powerful, and like it's almost it's just a staple of restricted formats at this point, because like. I don't think there's like many instances of non-restricted Pokemon having access to like really like even remotely powerful spread moves for that matter. Like Earthquake is not all that strong, and you hit your partner and it's only base 100, right? So like I can't think of like there's not really many like prolific water spouters. Like you can kind of do it on Shell Smash Blastoise, which is a meme. Like what else is there? I guess, right?
Trick Room, Jellicent, like.
Yeah, and that's probably better actually, but still like a bit of a meme, if not like at least uncommon, right?
Yeah. Well, like I mean, Eruption, like Groudon gets Eruption, but Torkoal gets Eruption.
Probably the best example of something that actually does stuff with spread.
Yeah. But you know, previous formats, you know, Heat Wave was always real big, but we don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah,
because we're opt for the damage. You know, you want that.
Yes. And
as much as you can with the blast burn and all. So
in a format of this game that is doubles, right? Like spread moves are cool. They just have their place for sure.
And especially in a format like this where like Lunala has wide guard sometimes, but you don't see wide guard it like hardly ever.
Not when Dynamax is an option.
No, because it's too risky. Because if you show it early or something, and then they're I can just max my Kyogre now and just nuke you. So.
And in Top Cut of Worlds, where everyone there will be watching every stream match and paying attention to every button you click, you show it once and that cat's out of the bag. And, I mean, granted, that being said, Casty had it, I believe, right? So like the finalist was running Wide Guard under Lunala, so it's not a bad call necessarily.
No, but it's a it's a card you want to have, but you don't want to show it.
And that is a fair point, right? Everything from top 8 on was streamed, and like you said, you have these high level players who are watching the streams and learning and taking mental notes of like, okay, cool, this person's Pokemon has this move, this is how they're using it, it survived that hit. There's so much to this.
Copious notes. You can see the HP values in the streams,
which tells you a lot.
Yeah.
It tells you a lot.
You can pretty much extrapolate the rest of the spread from that to a large degree.
Which is and the fact that people either they do is wild, right? Like there's so much to this game, so much to these tournaments that is not sitting at your Switch and hitting buttons for moves.
Yeah,
which is, I think it speaks to the depth of this game and the skill you have to be that high level play.
I'd be willing to bet a lot of these guys like have friends who are watching these streams and doing their best to like figure out the spreads and pass them as much useful information as possible. Which,
absolutely, there's a team behind these players.
It's all part of the game. Yeah, I doubt that's everybody. I'm sure some of these guys are coming in just by themselves. But yeah, I would not be surprised if you have people who have legit support staffs.
But it helps a lot though, to have that.
Yeah, and it's like, again, community is a part of this game too, right? Like, when Rowan goes to the 2023 Worlds and is competing there, Sheldon and I will be in the back.
I think we're all going to be in Worlds, right? That's the plan.
Hey, there you go.
That's the plan. That is the plan. Except they're showing my tech on the trailer already.
Stop giving spoilers for the second half of this episode that we've already gone.
They killed my soul.
30 minutes for.
Oh, guys.
So, what else? What? Weakness policy Charizard. Go.
Weakness policy Charizard.
That was very, very interesting to see.
I have ran calcs. I cannot wrap my head around this thing.
Yeah, that's scary.
It takes hits. So I personally, like, we've talked about this, Cap. Like, I agree with you. I don't personally like this, but like, it's been making the rounds for a little bit, and I think literally every top cut Charizard was a bulky weakness policy Charizard. There was not a single Charty Berry or Life Orb.
Yeah,
or a Berry or whatever. On
the only thing that gets me is like because I sit there and run counts and like giving it all the bulk in the world, like it still doesn't take all the hits that well.
Add screens.
Yeah, you gotta add screen.
You add Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl Charizard is a very common lead now. So
yeah.
You add the correct screen and you add insane bulk and you add Dynamax. And then you take the hit.
Yeah, you'll take one hit.
And you get an Airstream off, and now suddenly you are Charizard in the sun with +2 and speed boosts.
Every one of these Charizards is exactly that. Every one of these Charizards has a Grimmsnarl next to it. And I mean, Sun is just so prevalent. You don't necessarily need your own Groudon, but I think they might all actually have their own Groudon.
Yeah, they do.
I do want to say that like it can fail, right? So the brief spoiler, I don't know if are we leaving the finals for a later point?
Let's do that. Let's leave the finals for the final.
Okay. Well, that was the case of it failing. But yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like they trusted it. I am the big difference here is you can't pull up your damage calc in the middle of this tournament, right?
Exactly.
And I suspect that turn might have gone differently, although I don't know what other option they had. But I suspect that was an incredibly close calc that sealed that game.
There's a lot of that throughout the streams that were shown of like just living things that I wasn't sure they would, and then seeing that, oh wow, that does or does not live a Behemoth Blade while maxed or something, right? Like all these different options. And it's like, whoa.
We were watching. So speaking of Tatsuya, I think it was game 1 or 2. They had a weakness policy Kyogre. And it got doubled in by a Rillaboom Grassy Glide and a Max Thundurus, like a Thundurus Max Lightning. The Thundurus, I can't remember if it was Life Orb or not, but it lived on
like 2
1 HP.
One
HP.
The amount of 1 HP is that was on stream too.
There was a lot of secret sashes out there.
Yeah.
And you don't like, you bring your Kyogre out against
it's a roll
and Thundurus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's it was a favorable roll. They knew exactly what they were doing. Any other person who didn't think that through was swapping Kyogre out there.
Yeah,
and that would have been totally reasonable to do.
Like the trust you have in your
or you're playing the mind game of they expect me to swap, so I'm not going to swap.
Maybe,
because like that still has to be a super close roll. I feel like either way to live that. Like
it might not have been a roll. That might have been max damage.
Yeah, 99%. Yeah,
which still
that's what you calc for, 99.5.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah. And
I'm just saying.
All these
I'm
players playing 40 chess out here, right? Like,
oh yeah, and like I mean, we saw it a lot. I think on this, I think a lot of people took some coin flips. I mean, you're in a world championship, and if you can,
point, right?
if you have to coin flip to win or go home, sometimes you flip that coin
and hope.
Yeah, poor Joe UX9 can't hit a sleep powder or, get a lot of RNG in his favor. But I mean, that's part of the game. And
Joe is his case is tragic.
The least lucky person in VGC.
Okay, but here's the thing: if RNG is what is ruining you, why would you bring Lunadon?
Exactly. I don't know why you would, or why would you bring a Venusaur? Like that could be
Venusaur. I want to say
a lot of different
Venusaur, Lunala, Groudon. You have Meteor Beam that can miss. You have Precipice Shades that can miss. You have Sleep Powder that can miss.
Blast Burn can miss.
Blast Burn can miss. Rock Slide or Stone Edge can miss. Like there's no getting around RNG in this game, but you can choose to minimize that.
Exactly.
He was leaning into all of the misfortune he had and hoping
something had to go right.
Maybe I'll get karma. Like
it'll
all come back and I'll hit every Sleep Powder. Like, maybe I don't even know. And like, here's the thing: Lunadon is very good. It was in the finals. It is a good team, and there's like a concept of risk management as a skill as a player that you can say like, okay, I'm gonna do this because like this is my best chance, whether it misses or not. Like, even if it misses, I still took the best odds. But like, I hate that stuff. Maybe that just speaks to my own mindset.
But I mean, technically, running hypnosis is positive in your favor. At the end of the day,
and there was a hypnosis Lunala in finals as well.
Was, yeah.
So
that hit some blind hypnosises.
Okay,
it hit every time it tried, right? Or at least in finals.
I know I saw it hit 3 times. I think.
Yeah, it was.
Total,
it hit a lot. It was good.
I have seen gravity with Lunala on ladder. It makes me sad too, but that's on me for listening to it. But
I do have at least one more Mon I want to point out here. The only other Pokemon on here, one of the other few Pokemon on here that is singled out is that Celesteela.
Yeah, I want to talk about
I'm glad you brought
Megan Rattle's team.
Yeah.
Megan Rattle had a heck of a run. Like she didn't get the attention that who was it that started 0-2? Naoto, because Naoto had started 0-2, but so did Megan. Megan started day 2 0-2,
and then came back
and top cut.
That's super impressive. That's nerves of steel right there.
That's impressive
from that point.
It was awesome. Yeah, and I was probably still very sleepy while watching this, but I was like, ooh, Celesteela, that's something different. I haven't seen a whole lot of those around. Y'all have any insight on that?
I actually have not seen her games.
It was a substitute, leech seed, flamethrower, and protect.
Which is a pretty that's a normal Celesteela set.
And
though, right?
one of the things that lost her, I think, against because she made a top 4, right? She was top 4, right?
Top 4? Top
was it
8?
top 8?
Top 8. It was top 8. Yes. Because
who was in the
top 4?
Oh, James Beck. Yeah. Oh,
James Beck had
she lost to James Beck. That's who she lost to. But like one of the things I think that lost her was her setting up the rain and having flamethrower on the Steela, and it just couldn't get it done against the Zacian. But it was her matches were good.
And then I remember the caster saying something about her leech seed not being set up either in time or missing.
Well, James Beck was running sub Zacian, and he set up sub the turn she went for leech seed on it.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you say a standard Celesteela set. There is no standard Celesteela set in Series 12.
To be fair, you think of Celesteela, those are moves you think of, but you're right.
And then you run it, and then you run into me running like an AV physical Celesteela, which is so good into a Kyogre.
Sure.
Okay, fair. Yeah. And it's like Celesteela, that is a thing it did before people realized it could run Meteor Beam and then Dynamax, and then and then Restricteds came in and then it went away.
That was like its OG, just Leech Seed, Protect,
it was a Stallmon. It was very much Stallmon.
Heavy Slam was a thing too. Yeah.
Heavy Slam, I was gonna say, was its other highly used move.
That's non-Dynamax form there. Yeah. And there is one more too. I like the kind of the Landorus Incarnate.
Yeah, Hippolyte.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Hippolytes.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah. It put on a good show in the tournament too. Because he was running a was
it mixed?
It was mixed. So what series was it? Because I remember people used to run as a Zard.
It was legit.
Series 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it ran as a Zard check, because you could run Rock Slide and still get an Oko on a Charizard.
Yeah, but it was very good in 10. You could sub, and then like Sheer Force is very good when Max wasn't there.
Yep.
I probably didn't pay much attention to that his run there because of the Shedinja, so pardon my ignorance.
Yeah. But he was also running Grass Knot on it too. So you had Mats Evergross and the Kyogres.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you can hit ground on pretty hard out of Max with that.
Yep. Yeah, so it does what you expected it to do, but it's not a bad thing. It's definitely it's just in a weird spot in a Dynamax format.
Sure. Yeah. I can see that.
I'm trying to think what other stories there are. I mean, so Naoto was the only former world champion to make it to top cut.
Yep.
Yes.
And then you also have Rinya Kobayashi, like the guy who Rinya's son is named
We forgot about Rinya until just now. Yes, absolutely.
Ran Rinya's son. Which is actually kind of wild. So apparently he like talked about his team like shortly after, like did well with it really early in the format, obviously, right? Influenced the metagame aggressively, and then dropped it. And it's like, actually, I think this team is awful. I think people are just like people just latched onto this and are succeeding because they're playing incredibly well with it. But I don't even think it's that good. And then he came back to his own team for Worlds and made top cut. So.
Rinya and David had basically a mirror match, and with Rinya's son, which I thought was great.
It was a heck of a game too.
Cool. That was a good match. That was really fun to watch. It was really fun to watch that mirror and how the two of them piloted that.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to see Rinya's son or Rinya lose to Rinya's son. So good job, David. As it is.
We had
finals. Okay. So finals, we had Guillermo Castilla against Eduardo Cunha. So it was I think what the cool part about this was Portugal versus Spain, and we're going into Scarlet and Violet. So like I'm pointing that out right now. Rigged. Rigged for marketing.
I genuinely didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't, because they don't want you to.
So this was really cool. We have to say, props to Eduardo because of his undefeated run. So that was really impressive. That's insane plays. His team that he brought being Zacian, Kali Shadow, and Cineroar. The blue and green Gashdon, so the correct one. Rillaboom, and then Thundy. And then where'd he go? Guillermo, he brought Lunadon, Incineroar, Charizard, Grimmsnarl. Wow, my tongue tied there, and Regieleki. So two cool teams. Not too. I don't think they're too random. Like not random, but too off meta, right?
Nothing wild. They had some tech though, I think.
Yeah, they definitely had tech.
Where do we start?
Yeah, I mean, so we talked about the Lunala already, like Wide Guard and Hypnosis on a Lunala. So I don't actually know what item it was running. Did it have Moon? Did it have Moongeist Beam? But did it have Meteor Beam?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had Meteor Beam. So I believe
so no Trick Room, no Protect, which is pretty.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild
out there. Which was I was so confused watching one of Cassie's earlier games. It was like, why the one against James Beck? I was like, why aren't you clicking Trick Room? You would win. Why would you not clicking Trick Room? You didn't have it.
It wasn't there.
Yeah. But then Edu, Gastrodon had Icy Wind, which was
that was
cool.
Didn't see that one coming.
Which is actually kind of I like that a lot over nice. Like Ice Beam. Yeah.
Although I believe Edu clicked Icy Wind at such an unoptimal turn the first time in that match, because I think like Guillermo like switched and protected or something.
I want to say like game 1. So games 2 and 3 were their own stories, but game 1, it felt like Casti was setting the pace for the first like 3, 4, maybe 5 turns. Like everything was going his way, and then all of a sudden it shifted. All of it, like Edu brought
command.
that back from the brink.
Yes.
I think there was a swap. I can't remember if Ixen parting shot it or just regular swapped out directly into a Regieleki that ate Gastro's Earth Power and died. I think it was a hard swap, and if he had just done parting shot or U-turn or whatever his pivot move was, then Ixen would have taken it fine, and then the Regieleki comes in and you're golden.
Didn't he get throat chopped though? Wasn't he throat chopped?
Oh, was he throat chopped? That's why. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was throat chopped. Because I think Edu's Ixen might have been faster. I can't fully. I'd have to rewatch the match again. But
bring Ixen. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So like but that switch was I think what lost it ultimately is just like giving away your Regieleki for free. He was calling every protect, landed that blind hypnosis that I guess he didn't see him coming or was willing to risk, and like it was everything his way until that, and then like game 2 so the other thing is a game, so obviously Cassie won game 2, it was a 2-1, and then they came back with the same leads. Like Edu had he had the nerve to be like, okay, I just lost with this lead, but this is my game plan, this is my line, I'm gonna run this again, and he took it.
He was talking in his speech afterwards about flow charting the map, the match, and like trusting that he knew what he was doing. It's like that is a lot, right? Like to do the same thing.
But I mean, I get it though, because sometimes I have to play that way. Like I know this is my matchup.
This
I know
is the correct
this is
way to pilot this team.
You had when we played our match, you had the same lead every
yeah,
game.
Because I had like I was like, okay, I need know like sometimes like this is what I need to do against this.
I'm of the opinion that's the way you should play it. Like you should know your matchup and you should lead that way every time and mix it up in terms of moves. Now, like because if you got it wrong, then yeah, you switch it. Maybe they have some tech or something you didn't see coming.
Yeah, if it's like a complete like blowout kind of thing, or unless it wasn't because you switched wrong or
or a bad roll, right? Like anything there, right? Yes, I agree.
That's part of like basic good team building though, which we need to do an episode on and all that good stuff before Scarlet and Violet comes out.
Yeah.
Hey, don't give away the spoilers.
We're getting close to time for basics, but not yet.
Soon though, listeners. I almost said chat. Soon, y'all. We will be doing that. But yeah. What else was super cool that happened? I mean, honestly, I if we wanted to, we could do several videos, episodes, whatever, on all of these matches, right? Like
on the whole weekend.
On the whole weekend, the casters or someone I don't know who, one of the people who were talking over the stream were like, this has been such a masterclass on how to play Pokemon, and like the first Worlds in 3 years. What else would you expect? But it was so cool.
So, I will say though, like, I felt like they put a lot of time into this production, like at the Worlds as a production, compared to what we've seen with the regionals and all. But like, just everything was so good from the music. The music like,
was so good. I didn't even realize how like I was listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is like it's background music.
Like I want the files so I can play that like on stream or something because it's so good.
I was seeing outside reactions to it. I'm like on Twitter and a lot of different gaming communities, and they're watching Worlds like from the outside, and they're like, "Why is the president of Pokemon in a tux like talking to us right now?" I think they're talking about Aaron, but
I mean, okay. So, to be fair, the couch thing was super good.
It was good.
That was because like I was disappointed when he wasn't casting, but this was way better.
I think it was a better role for him. Yeah,
so,
it was perfect.
Was that all planned?
Yes.
Or was that their comeback?
Like,
okay, yeah. Whenever he was announced, because like I remember his tweets. Too. Yeah, he wasn't happy that he wasn't there, and I think they were like, oh, what can we do?
Here's a good idea. Let's have him host a mid-show for this.
My only issue with this, and I think I said it like right the very first one, I was like, it is like the most awkward looking couch setup.
Yes.
Like the couch looks so uncomfortable. Like everyone on it is like halfway like leaned forward, and the back is like super low, so you can't even like sit back.
Have you seen like the 30 Rock episode? Let's say a 30 Rock episode where they accidentally design a couch that is the perfect torture instrument. Like it aligns your body into a position that is used by like Israeli special forces to compress your lungs.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, because just everyone is in it is like so awkward. And you got Aaron sitting there in this gigantically like deep chair.
That chair was consuming him, because not only like could he like curl up in a ball and like sit on the cushion, he had the armrest was not an armrest, it was a desk. Then he had a little stream deck, which was this is super cool, right? The stream deck, mouse or whatever he was using to control the playbacks and like switch scenes.
Yeah,
so smart and so cool to be able to like fast forward, rewind, like go through the match that way.
Yeah,
that was.
It was
awesome.
like watching like NFL recap or something like it. They were going over to play like so he can just sit there and control. It's like, okay, I want to see this. Like they took like real sports elements into, because also I don't know if you noticed too, during the matches they had a ticker running across the bottom saying so and so defeated. That was so good, because like just little because you would never know, like in other streams you don't know who's playing, you don't know who lost one until after.
A lot of that stuff can be reused. They don't need like high production values on every tournament. That you can not easily, but like you can incorporate that into your regionals that don't have as much money into it, because you've already spent the money to develop this tool. Just use it everywhere. Like do this kind of stuff in as many places as you can.
Oh, like could you imagine regionals like we don't have that awkward scrolling questions, in between rounds, like, and you get one pro or maybe a pro gets
bring Aaron to every regionals.
I'm sure he'd be willing to do it for a bunch of them,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you can easily find someone who is like top 50, top 100 in the world, someone whose name you know, who would be who would love to do it, would love to get their name out there and do
Sheldon,
that.
you want to do it?
Like, I'll do it.
So I do want to like quickly touch on, like, before we move on from the actual gameplay.
Yes.
Game 3 of finals, what was absolutely deciding play, and it's what we were talking about earlier with the weakness policy Charizard. I'm pretty sure Cassie's was a weakness policy Charizard. Like,
yeah.
This moment. Yes.
Yeah. So, for reference, Charizard almost full health, had taken an airstream through Protect, but like effectively full health, right?
Yep.
Reflect is up. This is ostensibly a very bulky Charizard, at least max HP investment, if not some also defenses in there too. And proceeds to Dynamax, and the idea is I can take a Behemoth Blade and a Max Lightning and kill your station, and that's all I need to do. Then I have the win con in the end game against your Thundurus, and then it died. Like the final Dynamax of Sword and Shield was a Charizard getting big and immediately getting blown up.
So poetic.
Yeah.
Like, so good. So almost sad, because we had in the juniors division a Blastoise was a champion. In the masters division there was a Venusaur that was a champion. I'm sorry, what I said, juniors, seniors, was a Venusaur, and then come masters we could have had a Charizard, and the Charizard choked. It got big and then immediately laid down.
I'd like to think that is a calc that Cassie had thought about, and it was just close and it was a bad roll, or maybe that tiny bit of chip from the
first
Protect.
Yeah.
I think because I felt like the chip was probably a little bit more than he anticipated.
I was gonna say,
it wasn't
probably a high.
It was chip. It was chip, but it wasn't like minuscule damage. It wasn't like damage.
It wasn't like
20 or 30 or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like fake out damage or nothing. You know,
I have to stop us though. We have to stop saying chip. It was in London. It was crisp damage.
Crisp damage.
Okay, sorry. Go on. No, but I think I think it was probably something like that. Because that has to be a.
Because you got to think too. Maybe Ito probably also was ready for that kind of calc. Like, he probably knew, it's like, if I get any chip onto this Charizard, I could take it out with a Lightning and a Behemoth Blade.
Right.
I mean, there's also the other thing is that I don't think either player had any choice in the matter. I think both of them had to do what they did.
Yeah.
Because that Charizard just protected, so it can't max guard, it can't protect.
Yep.
Nothing that he switches in is gonna take an Airstream plus Behemoth Blade. Actually, it was an Ixen, so maybe, but then you just give away a free Defiant boost, so you don't want to do that.
Which is not good.
That would not help the situation.
Yeah, no. And on the other side of the coin, right? Like, Charizard is the only threat to Edu. Like, the Groudon has already revealed that its rock move is Rock Tomb. So okay, it's gonna hurt, but you're giving me
a +2.
And the Airstream is gonna offset the speed boost. So you don't care about this Groudon. Your Zacian's at full health. It can take a P-Blades when it's spread. So, like, what other choice did you have but to just attack the Charizard? Like, that's it.
And to that point too, like we were saying before, these players know the game and know their team so well. They probably, you're right, they probably both knew it's got to be this is the turn, and they probably saw that and then knew, well, you know, Guillermo was like, what can I do to come back from this? And Ida was like, okay, I have my win con, right? Like, they probably both knew at that point of what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I don't even think if you go for that was the first turn of Dynamax for Thundurus, right? Like, it had done one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
It had another one after, is my I guess the point.
Yes.
So even if you like max guard and get the double, and then Rock Tomb is like, great, the thing is still. I guess if you max guard, get the double, it's still faster than you because it's a Thundurus. So like,
it's always going to be faster.
There's really no out. Yeah. No.
So but I still wonder though, if max guarding, does that save?
Because the Thundy still has another turn.
Well, I know you still get another turn, but I'm just saying, like, you didn't take the chip, and I wonder if you live it
Solar
at that
power.
Point.
You even more chips next turn.
Yeah.
True.
That's true.
I mean, I guess in theory, if you do that, then like and you get the 30% roll. So we're hard theory crafting on behalf of world class players. But if you do that, then a second Rock Tomb probably does kill the Thundy, and then you're looking at Groudon plus Ixen versus Zacian plus Cali S, and I don't know who wins that necessarily.
Yeah, that's probably also up to.
So
that could be close.
I'm pulling up the match right now and trying to.
Because I've seen Cali S, especially in this thing, like they get any kind of grenade boost. And especially if single targeted, like it doesn't matter about the Ixen, it's going down to that.
And that was a lot of the Callies we saw that would get to the right position, get a single boost, and then pop off. I feel like that was how all of them were played. Which I mean that's all it takes. That's how they are played, right? But like to see that pretty consistently throughout all the matches as well.
Now, one thing I did like seeing though, I can't remember, was it day 2 maybe? I don't remember who it was, but a Cali S came out and is like in face of Grimmsnarl, and they were running Sucker Punch Grimmsnarl.
Yes, just that was day 2.
And all the greedy, specs Cali shadows we have running around, like you get shut down hard into that.
That was a good thing to bring.
I'm surprised we didn't see more something like a Sucker Punch or because I feel like, I mean, it's such a good move anyway, and you don't just see it.
Right, it's a good counter for that one prevalent mon, I guess. Also Lunala
too.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a couple, but it's still.
Anyway, I thought we couldn't wrap this up without talking about that game, because that was
absolutely.
I think especially after the B-Blade through Reflect didn't do very much to Charizard. They were all just like clenching, like does this kill?
And
like,
it was oh man, y'all people listening, if you have not watched these VODs, go do it, right? Like there's
definitely. Hopefully they break them down, because I know they do that sometimes.
They never do. Maybe for the finals.
Well, what was it? Daring Knight, I think, is the ones that would do it. Used to do it. I don't know if they still do.
They haven't posted in a while. Yeah. I suspect that they are
they're out of commission.
Gotten hit by something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
The channel's still up, but they haven't published in ages. So yeah.
Gotcha. And they have occasionally, like, if you look at old world championships, they've broken down the matches, like the top. Yeah. So
I mean, honestly, if enough people ask me to go do it, I'll go make a bunch of timestamp links to the VOD.
The best thing about it though, you don't really want to, because then you miss Aaron in between matches. Yeah. It's so good. It's such a good show now. Like the whole thing is worth watching. Which before, a match would end and then I want to sit my phone down and not pay attention to it now for 10 minutes.
I was legitimately afraid going in that I'm like, well, fine, I'll wake up super early and then I'll fall asleep between matches. But no, it's like the whole, like you said, whole thing's production, whole thing's it's straight up entertainment value the whole time. Having Aaron and Scott. Sorry.
Yeah, Scott.
Thank you. Yeah.
Scott glad
at the couch there talking was so cool. Having a couple of random guests at the time too was so neat.
And I think Wolfie needs to quit and just join Aaron.
Yeah.
Like those two together on the couch. Like Scott was great too, but just him and Wolfie have such a good. You can tell their chemistry and everything, and they're so good together.
It would be that would be really fun.
So I hate to do this, but we're on an hour of this now.
I was gonna say
trailer. We still have a trailer to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's hit the trailer. Let's do that.
I think that was a pretty good overview of Worlds. I mean, we could come back to it later if we wanted to. Worlds ended with some cool news. For those of you who are interested in the TCG, they kind of touch on the new mechanic, which seems like just a very different VMAX thing. I'm not super versed, so I'm gonna move on. Because Scarlet and Violet had some cool announcements, which starts off with I'll have a picture of him on the screen, but this cute little dude, Cyclizar, is that how you say his name?
The bicycle lizard, yeah.
Cyclizar, yeah.
Cyclizar.
So like the elephant in the room is that is the same concept as the legendaries, but it seems to be a regular mon that like random NPCs are writing.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts, What do y'all think? How are they related?
It's so the way I see it, I don't know the term for it, paradox, convergent, regional fake, or whatever, but your box legendaries are that. They're the souped up version of this thing, so you have the past one, you have the future one, and that's the thing they've been saying about the regional fakes, whatever. They're almost like Ultra Beasts, where they have a lot higher stats than normal and stuff too.
Sure.
So this is going to be like just the normal everyday version that we have today, but then you got your past and future ones, and they're just ultra powerful. So
yeah, that's as good a guess as any. Like it's the present version of the legendaries, I guess, but we're not gonna know until the game. But the design is cool. I've liked the designs pretty much. Yeah, I like the designs of everything they've shown so far.
Yeah.
I do want to point out one very scary fact. Cyclozar can sprint at over 70 miles per hour while carrying a human. That's wicked dangerous. And it's commonplace in the Paldea region.
I'm gonna need there to be like hazards where you can just at any point be run over by someone riding one of these things. Just game over,
right.
Start from scratch. You have been GTA'd. Like,
yep. Lose all your Pokemon.
It's more than just knocked out and run to a Pokemon Center. The nearest
gotta
gas
go to
station.
the professor.
And then
vehicular manslaughter in the Pokemon world.
But yes, I agree. Somehow related, probably the past future thing, because clearly Cyclozar doesn't seem to be able to fly, or maybe float, or anything. He can't transform. At least by the looks of it. What else is cool?
It's signature move. Or we don't know if it's a signature move, but a move it can use.
At least the new move that came with his announcement was Shed Tail. So the user
is insanely powerful.
Very interesting. The user creates a substitute for itself using its own HP before switching places with a party Pokemon in waiting. So it's a switch out and a substitute. I've been seeing a lot of people talk online saying it's a baton pass and a substitute, which is different from a switch out.
Is it baton pass as well? Is it pass stats?
Wait, so I don't think it's actually said. Like, I think they're just comparing it because you're passing off the substitute.
Yeah, baton pass also passes sub, I believe.
So
this creates a sub and then passes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
but I don't think you get to pass your stat boost. That would be insane.
I was gonna say that would be wild.
Yeah, I think it's more of a volt switch. You turn, but you leave a sub behind.
And you do no damage.
Yeah, you do no damage, and also it costs you 50% of your HP.
Say half your HP, which is a lot. Worth it though, potentially.
But I mean, if all 50% of that HP goes into the sub, then that's a very powerful sub you're talking about now, right?
Yeah,
that's a good. I hadn't thought about that.
That's going to be like the kicker.
Yeah, is where that HP goes.
Yeah.
So there's a few interesting things about this in my mind. So the first is that how fast, based on the fact that this lizard in lore runs 70 miles an hour, that means nothing, by the way. Dragonite's apparently supersonic.
Well, Vikavolt is apparently like a jet, but it's based 45 speed or something.
Yeah.
But assuming it's fast, I think this is one of the few cases where you want your Pivotmon to be fast. Because normally you want your Pivotmon to be slow. You want it to be like Incineroar, bulky, take the hit for the thing you have in the back. You don't want to have what happened to Casti where your Alecki in the back dies. You want Incin to take that hit, pivot out, and then Alecki comes in, right?
Yep.
But in this case, if you take too much damage, which in this case could be just half, then your sub fails. You can't make a substitute. The regular move at least fails if you don't have the 25%. I suspect this move would be exactly the same with 50%.
Yeah, so you can't do it.
You want to get this off beforehand, and then go in, and and that's always a net positive, right? Because you would take, if it would do more than 50% to you, then you're still like taking less in making the sub.
Yep.
Yeah. So like that's like the main thing to me is like I don't know how good it's gonna be. It's gonna depend entirely on the mon that it's linked to in that case.
Yeah.
Well, we have to see more of what Cyclozar can do, or if Shed Tail goes on other mon as well, because if that's all it does well,
is it enough?
Is it enough? I don't think so.
Right. I think my initial impression. Yeah, I think it's more of a singles thing. Personally,
that could be true, and they showed it in singles battles despite it being an EDC event.
I think that's going to be big in singles because single players would love that. Like that is
that would be a really cool thing for singles. I agree.
So there's another big thing though, is that does it require a target or is it self-targeted? Right? It's like my thought is that it would be self-targeted because
if they protect it seems like it's self-targeted because it's just saying it used Shed Tail, it switched out.
Which is a very important thing, right? It's like it's very common in VGC to parting shot a mon that you wouldn't necessarily want a parting shot, but because it doesn't have protect, so there's no chance. Like I could parting shot this Zacian, but it's probably going to protect, so I'll parting shot their Ixen that isn't doing any damage anyway,
right?
Just so I can get my Ixen out. And like this makes that brainless. You don't have to. You just cast it on yourself. You don't care if they protect or not. If they protect, then awesome, you get out for free.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would venture that it's probably self-targeting for that. That's my guess, at least.
So and that's the only new mon and move we got, right?
Yeah, but we got items too.
We got some cool
but the
items.
I am excited for at least one of these items. But I want to hit the other two first. Y'all probably know which ones. I want to say the first one that we could just kind of touch on is the loaded dice.
It's cute.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cute. It gives you skill link basically. So it's
skill link. It's just better odds.
Yeah, it said better odds, not 100%.
So likely. Okay, so better. Oh, never mind. So never mind. It's terrible.
They showed a bullet C doing 4 hits instead of
2. Like, okay, never mind. That is horrible. Never mind. I'll pass.
Yeah. So
I was excited for it, like when I first read it.
When I first saw, I thought it was like basically giving you a new, like, because if you could just add another ability basically with an item, like that's actually pretty sweet. Which one of these kind of almost does that with or parts of an ability too. But the next one would be the mirror herb, which
real quick, I just want to say before we move on to the mirror herb, the best part about the loaded dice is that it confirmed Breloom's in the game.
Yes.
So we're gonna get some fast spores.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
So, and I'm going to guess Among Us so we're going to have slow and fast spores, because if they got the fake Among Us, it's probably in the game.
Right.
So, and in the base game. So not even a DLC thing. Like we're getting Among Us right away, which is probably not good.
Well, yeah.
Like
we know what it does though.
We do, but I don't know if I want that in just the base regional decks.
Was it in the Isle of Armor? Is that where it came?
It was in Isle of Armor.
Yeah, it was Isle of Armor.
Okay.
So we didn't have it at the very beginning.
I didn't even. Yeah.
If you want to use Spore, you had to use that fairy grass one, whatever that thing is.
Shinotic, yeah.
Yeah,
Shinotic. Morlel is the first one. Okay, mirror herb.
Mirror herb.
Where was this in Sword and Shield?
Right.
That would have been great for weakness policy nonsense. Yeah.
Can you imagine someone setting up a coal in front of you?
Oh, we can still do that. Don't get me wrong. We're doing that in this next game. You know that, right?
Yeah. No, I know, but just it's crazy what it does. But so also, I think this is also a singles thing.
What mirror herb does?
Honestly,
we should say what it does.
Yes, we should say what it does.
It is a one-use item that will repeat. That will if an opponent does a stat increase, you get the same stat increase, right?
But does it apply to stat decreases? Does it,
no,
the wording on this says will mirror an opponent's stat increase.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means opponent and stat increase. Because I saw some theory crafting on Twitter earlier today about what if you do it with your partner? Like if your partner gets a boost, I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be opponent.
Yeah.
Other question is targeting, right? Is it the thing directly across from you? Is it random? Is it any in doubles? I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like they showed this in a singles trailer, so it's like if anything gets a boost on the other side of the field, I
think so.
Get it?
I think so.
I would imagine
so
anything,
unless they both boost at the same time, like with a howl, but then it doesn't matter because they're getting the same boost.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it's the same boost, yes, I think that's true. Otherwise, it's probably speed dependent.
Yeah. So like so if someone belly drummed on the other team to follow me belly drum, you'll get the belly drum too.
Yep.
Which is it's a cool concept, and I feel like it's a good way to keep people from going crazy with setup. So
I think they saw all the side proc weakness policy in this generation. They're like, that won't happen as much without Max, but like,
because of Dynamax. Yeah. Which it would have been good to have it this time, which I don't know if it would have been good. It would have been insane because
it would have been interesting.
Because like I'm just thinking like, they proc their Cole, get the +6/+2 on attacking sets. You copy that, KO their Cole, then you have a Max. Like that doesn't sound like a good meta.
Yeah, that's fair. I am looking forward to seeing what people come up with for this. This will be interesting tech.
I think it's gonna be really good because there's a lot of game plans that are just like very telegraphed, but they're going for a boost. but sometimes there's not a lot you can do about it. Like, it's just like you led badly, but then you just like, okay, I'm gonna keep my thing with this mirror item in the back, and if I see you lead with your obvious setup, I'm just swapping it in. I'm getting your boosts the second you do. And belly drum is usually on something slow, like in a Zoomer, like a Snorlax.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm swapping in my fast physical sweeper and getting that +6, and I'm not taking the half HP for that. Or like they see you're Cole, they think you're setting up Cole's, like I'm swapping in, I'm getting that +6 speed. Like,
yeah, there's some good options there. So, and then the newest staple item for this game, the covert cloak.
Yeah, no fake out. Or no secondary effects.
No secondary effects.
No secondary effects. I just want to say it too.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is awesome. Like I love it.
Super cool.
No burns.
No random paras, no random freezes, no fake out, no flinches.
It's a great item, I think. Like
that's gonna
it doesn't really do a lot, but like just being able to they have a fake out lead, like okay. It doesn't matter.
So
I think the no fake out is going to be the reason people run it, and everything else is going to be
bonus,
just gravy, and that's that. And I think it's good for the game. Every time you remove RNG from the game, it's good.
Does the only question I have with that is, does status moves count as a secondary condition? So if I Will-O-Wisp, that doesn't count.
No, because that's the primary.
That's the okay. Yeah, so you can still status, but it's just not as a result of like a Thunderbolt or a Flamethrower or something.
Correct. Yes,
it's going to behave the same as Sheer Force, but in reverse.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Like, anything that would be triggered by Sheer Force.
Yes.
That would like any move where Sheer Force would remove a secondary effect and do extra damage, that would be negated against.
Gotcha.
You. Yes.
But it's still like just the if all it did was prevent flinch, it would
one
still
of the best.
Be
good. It'd still run it.
It'd still be one of the best items in VGC.
Yep.
Because I don't know how many times like I've actually thought about this before. Like when my team does, like, man, if I just had like an item so I couldn't flinch, I'd be so happy.
I just had the covert cloak.
Yes.
And
so I'm hyped about this.
We won't go into the specifics because we're not talking about leaks in this episode, but it does seem that this game, they are looking at toning down some things that have really dominated so far. Like, and this is an obvious been like fake out is, especially with Dynamax going away, fake out is going to be huge again. And this is just like another thing alongside things like Inner Focus and Scrappy, where we're just not dealing with this.
I actually don't know what leak you're referring to, so we'll talk offline.
Yeah, we should. It's actually interesting. It's about a Gamon that's actually not even in the game, but they found in the programming that certain things have been nerfed. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I knew there's a few things nerfed, but I mean, anything like I know a lot of people complain about Incineroar, about everything about Incineroar, and this.
I still do.
Oh, yeah. But it's just one of the things that kind of helps out. Just the meta with it.
Yeah, they're clearly thinking about competitive a bit more these days, which I think that's great.
Very nice.
Which I think Intimidate is important. I think Incineroar is an important part. Or at least when you look at all Intimidators, it just does everything. It does everything you want.
I don't. But should any mon do everything?
No,
should that not be split up amongst multiple mons?
You
but
it's also
I like having
Sheldon. You missed half your statement. Incineroar is a important Pokemon to the story of competitive Pokemon, because when it gets nerfed to the ground, we'll all know why.
And then we'll miss it because things are running wild, and we're like, man, if I just had the old Incineroar.
Yes, people will be sad.
I'm happy for Arcanine to come back. Give me like an Arcanine and Hitmontop meta.
Which I think we'll have that at the beginning. I don't think we won't have to worry about Incineroar until DLCs and like this time around.
Yeah,
but
that's probably true.
Come GS Cup though, we'll all have our Incineroars on our teams again.
It'll come back
because that is when Incineroar I think shines the most. It's the second you start ramping up the power. Like Incineroar just gets better because it was okay in like Series 5 and all. It was used a lot, but it wasn't like now.
Yeah. Now it's ridiculous.
It's now you basically have to.
Down.
Yeah. But once the meta kind of is a lot less powerful, it's just regional kind of. It's okay then. It's just not. Yeah.
I was gonna say if it was gone, then maybe we'd see a lot more David Katesh teams with Gyarados running around.
I was gonna say There's two teams in the top 26 that don't have Incineroar.
Yep. If you go down the left side, of the bracket. It is literally all Insins until you hit David Katesh.
Yeah.
No, Roberto.
And if you do the Roberto's sorry, yeah, the two people with buys didn't have Insin.
Yes. And then on the right side, it's all Insin. Oh no, sorry,
except for Megan. Except for Megan.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, Megan.
teams.
Megan.
Three teams in the top 26 did not have.
I don't know. Like that's another thing. Like I would like to hear David Katesh talk about this team, because like in a format with a Regieleki being one of the best Pokemon in it, how do you put a Gyarados on your team? It's crazy.
Carefully, or not so much.
Like I know, like I mean, and then you have two mons that are like definitely weak to it. In Fairthorn, I don't think even wants to take a Max Lightning from a special attacking Aleki.
Sure. So
I think we hit everything.
We did. We hit everything. This is
it's a lot.
Maybe for our longest episode.
There is one more thing. One more thing that we forgot that was new with the trailer.
One more thing.
Get the Terra Blast things.
Oh,
yes.
Goodness. Oh, that move.
Is big. That is big.
Yes.
I love the name of it though, by the way. Just like I wonder if that's like a throw out the Wolfie, because every time like he plays something, it's like use Pikachu Blast. Like if they just like, this is a good line.
Yeah.
So you just Terra Blast.
Real quick rundown. We don't know the power of this move.
No.
It is normal type, and it will change to whichever of your special or physical attack stat is higher. Like it'll change to that type of move, and it will also change to whatever your Terra type is if you terrestrialize.
Yep.
So
got it in one.
There we go. Yeah, so it's very interesting in that like we don't know how strong this is. If it's like base 100 or something, then it might have some use on normal types outside of Terra, but otherwise
I was gonna say I have to imagine it's gonna be like the Weather Ball situation where it's a weaker version of itself if the condition's not met, right? So if you're not
I could see that for sure. That could definitely be it.
Did you also say the attack and special attack thing?
Yes.
I was totally paying attention to you.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's interesting. If it is not that way, then you might see some niche use on normal types, but otherwise you only want to put this move on Pokemon that you're planning to Terra if you can.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are some. It's going to be a lot like Dynamax, where like some mons
it's an offensive move.
Yeah, some mons you want to max to win the game, some mons you want to max to not lose the game. It'll probably be very similar for Terra.
Yep.
But also, I'm gonna say like it's only for mons that don't necessarily have the coverage they need, right? Like, this is so that you can terrestrialize to any type you really feel like, and potentially have something that'll work for you.
Right.
But ideally, you just have a mon that has this coverage already and doesn't need to waste a slot on an otherwise useless move.
So correct.
But it gives us the option though.
Yeah,
so which
cool.
we appreciate. I think as like everybody, like I think it's a good thing. Like
I get on Game Freak a lot for bad game design. I think this is fantastic game design. I think
it's like a fixed it's like a fixed way to get hidden power in the game, just so you have coverage for whatever you need.
I'm gonna go out and say it. This is better hidden power.
Well, but no, because hidden power worked outside of the gimmick. This you will only work. I mean, only do something proper when you're Terra'd.
But it's still better hidden power.
It's better if you're Terra'd, absolutely, yeah.
No, I think like even from like a design perspective and for competitive, I think it's better.
Oh, okay.
Like just
better in terms
like,
of in terms of
general,
design,
right? Not
okay,
just the move itself, right? I think this is better hidden power, and I'm gonna stand by that until I see that it doesn't actually work.
Well, it's also going to be removed from Gen 10, but
yeah. I just posted something in our chat too. I wanted y'all to see real fast.
Oh yeah,
because I was looking at the images. So okay, well we'll talk about what's happening in it. But so they stole my idea. I guess they were following me on Twitter here about using water type Colossal to get the steam engine boost. But besides that, I want look at this image. So you know how whenever an ability comes up, it actually has a picture of the mon, which is actually super cool. Like it's just such a nice.
That'll be really nice.
Ooh, good point.
It is a nice touch because I like, instead of just being text, you get the little picture, so you know exactly what it is.
I was gonna touch on this too. Everything we've seen, one of the coolest things we've seen from this trailer is more of the UI, more of how good these Pokemon models look, more of like someone.
God, those trees.
The trees look amazing.
I know we have trees.
The shadows exist. Like they look actually pretty good for shadows are such a weird thing and just video games in general, but like they look good. Like there's a handful of things that like this game is gonna look amazing.
And I hope this is like the battle stadium, like arena that you're in. Is like you're just in the courtyard, and then you got like your mom and grandma cheering you on the side.
Yeah, I want to see how they theme this, right?
I hope that'll be like the battle state instead of, just having some futuristic looking things or.
Well, so I think the in Sword and Shield they did a cool job theming like all the battles.
Yeah.
It was like very sports arena. Like they really they leaned into that theme really well. This is like I said, clearly a schoolyard or something. It's like I think there's a track in the background.
Yeah, so I wonder if it'll be like a school sports kind of thing, almost. Where you're. But like I think it looks actually really good. Like I like seeing everything around it, seeing everything around you, because sometimes just the battles, like you're in a stadium, but you don't sometimes really actually look like you're in a stadium.
Right.
Like everything in the background is just kind of fuzzy and all right now in Sword and Shield, but like I think the whole thing looks pretty good. Like, and you see how small like the Rotom looks.
Yeah, actual like relative sizing is exciting.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
God, just realized how strong Rotom terrestrializing to its own type is going to be.
Don't think.
Yep.
It could just become an electric type with like 2 times boost and levitate.
And people were worried about Shedinja.
No weakness, super powered Rotom.
Yeah. People were worried about Shedinja. That's just going to be a gimmick little sit there thing.
There's going to be a bunch of that, especially early on. I cannot wait.
People are gonna find some stuff.
That's why we have Amoongus.
So
go to sleep.
This make a grass, terrestrialize the grass, immune to spore, done.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Ooh, there's a lot of weird tech that'll come out of this. I love it.
Oh, there is. It's gonna be wild.
It's gonna be the Wild West. Yeah.
Like they need to like update it on home so we can data mine it and start building now. Like,
hurry up, Showdown, get terrestrialization on your servers.
I have a substance abuse problem. I need a drink. Let's wrap this
All
up.
Right. Yeah, me too. I've been dry for a minute.
The problem is your lack of a drink too, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho, I agree. This has been long. This I think now is the longest episode. So, y'all.
Hell yeah.
I cannot tell you how excited I am and on fire I am for Pokemon. Looking forward to Scarlet and Violet. Looking forward to VGC 23. They did also announce the regionals. So we are. I know I'm going to the Orlando one. I already have a hotel booked for that.
Oh yeah,
time.
we have a podcast since then, huh?
No, we haven't. Yeah, it's first one since
that's something
Worlds.
else we didn't talk about. Good grief.
Next episode.
Orlando, Charlotte, Knoxville.
Those are the ones that I want to try and hit. So look forward to that.
The Battle Corner, our tournament is starting
yes.
tomorrow.
Oh, I have to do stuff for that, don't we? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Whoops. So, even more reason to wrap this up. Y'all comment down below what your favorite part of Worlds was, if you watched it, and what you're excited for the next part of competitive Pokemon. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you to RobKTA and Game Chops for the use of our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner. I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now, Rowan. You're welcome. I've been Harrison. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Ixen. I'm gonna be streaming a lot more Pokemon just to pretend like I know what I'm doing. Where can people find you?
You'll be playing this week too.
That's true. I actually have to play the game for once.
Yeah. Rowan, you can find me on YouTube at Rowan Hall, Twitter at Rowan W Hall, and yeah, speaking of that league, we'll be putting out something with me and Sheldon's match. If not the one from LDL, we did play. It was a really great match, and if not that one, then we're gonna do some.
We need to do something. We need to do something with it though.
Some crazy teams. It'll be good.
We are thinking of more content, so look forward to that, y'all.
Yeah.
We could probably clip it up. It was a long one, but yeah.
Yeah. And this is Sheldon. You find me as Captain_Unova on Twitter and Captain Unova on Twitch.
And together we have been the Game Corner. You can find us on Twitter at Game Corner VGC. Our Discord link is below. Make sure you stop in and say hi. Join the little family that's growing over there. And until next time, press start and game on.